Quick episode recap. Many months have passed since Senna's declaration of Lu's pregnancy, and it's slowly approaching the day of the birthing. Everyone in the village got excited at the first pregnancy among them, but Hiraku only is growing concerned for Lu's health as time passes. She reassures him that it's fine, and ironically, it is her who is the calmest among everyone about the situation. The pregnancy is the reason that Lu had been unable to use her transformation magic, but I'm sure Hiraku would appreciate her adult form more anyways. And so, everyone goes back to their regular routine of taking care of the fields and preparing meals for the village. Apparently, Hiraku tries not to wake up too early in the morning, because the maids insist they wake up earlier than he does. In consideration of them, he decided to sleep much later for their sake, otherwise they'd tire out in more ways than one. It's Anne's duty to inform Hiraku of anything important that's happened recently, and she grievously reports that the wine slime snuck in to drink a barrel of wine the previous night. But unlike the first time the slime committed the crime in front of everyone, this time it was something deliberately set up and allowed by Hiraku. With the maids busily preparing meals for the village, it is now time for breakfast. Because the population expanded so much, it is impossible for everyone to eat together, so they split the meal into 3 groups. The first group consists of Hiraku, his main wives, and early risers. The second group consists of the maids. And the last group consists of everyone else that couldn't make it to the previous sessions. But sometimes, the lazy Harem can't even make it to the last session. Speaking of lazy and useless, Gran Maria and the other angels always seem to be full of dignity and pride while working as guards, but outside of their job, they are quite incompetent. They require the lizard men to do the laundry and cleaning for them, the maids to cook for them, and they lays in bed all day. But at least they do their job well. Unlike them, Flora had been struggling to make progress on the miso production. Sleep-deprived and saddened by the lack of results, Flora comes to a realization of what must be done. She insists on adding more explosives, much to Hiraku's dismay. After breakfast, Hiraku goes to the fields to work as per usual, but he occasionally encounters garden pests feeding off of the plant leaves. Luckily, there is an easy way for him to get rid of these pests, by using his almighty tool. It also helps that the wolves or Zabuton's children can also quickly spot and identify them for Hiraku to eliminate. With the growing population and interactions through trade, Hiraku has no choice but to gradually expand the fields. It's growing difficult to manage them all, but he is satisfied seeing his efforts bear fruit. Once it's time for lunch, Hiraku shares a meal with the girls. Apparently, his habit of eating lunch was considered something strange to the others. The poor beast girls thought they'd only get to eat once every few days, while the elves worried the food supply wouldn't last if they ate more than once a day. Tia and Lu are at least somewhat normal and thought it strange to eat lunch when they ate not too long ago. But after getting used to living in the village and accepting Hiraku's strange customs, everyone happily eats their fill. People also come to him for direction or to inform him of any changes during this time. Afterwards, he goes back to working the fields, sometimes planting smaller flower gardens to beautify the village. When not outside farming, Hiraku would be busy making furniture or even toys at the villagers' request. He even made the wooden practice swords used for battle training by the village. He doesn't feel it's necessary, but Anne and the maids strongly insisted they practice just in case anything happens. In truth, they use this as a chance to lose weight, because after eating so often, their maid outfits are starting to get tight on them. Watching everyone try their best, Hiraku wants to try it out too, but he's too weak. Without the almighty tool in his hands, everyone and anyone in the village is many times stronger than he is, and yet demonstrates his lacking with her throwing knives. But with his spear in his hands, there's nothing he can't penetrate. It's now dinner time, and the maids present a new test dish for everyone to try out. Some definitely enjoyed it much more than others, but it certainly didn't fit Hiraku's palate. He asks the maids how much confidence they had, but they only had 20% confidence in the dish. He wishes they'd only serve if they had at least 50% confidence, but
食材を無駄にはできません。確かに。
Florem then informs Hiraku that the princess has sent him a letter. As he reads the letter, he is confused to find that it's only a list of requests for the village. Yuri asks for them to send her more apples for her to enjoy, and also demands another dress made by Zabutone, as she appreciates her quality work. Florem understands how selfish the requests are, and apologizes for her. Afterwards, Hiraku relaxes alone in the men's bathhouse. He reflects that it was wise of him to have them rush to build a separate bath for men, as he always felt uncomfortable being naked around his harem. This is his only chance to relax in peace, because after coming out, he has to be aware of his surroundings. From the bath to his room, there are gazes following him everywhere. Hiraku's not safe, especially not inside his room. Likely, the elves have become more impatient with the future of their race ever since the discovery of the bloody viper and the news of Lu getting pregnant. Hopefully, he's been helping them out in his free time. Later, Hiraku goes to visit the dwarves who are always hard at work making alcohol. They go about their jobs very seriously, and even ask for Hiraku to expand the grape harvest by 3 times to up their production on the wine. Initially, he thought that they would all work while heavily drunk, but this would clearly cause problems on the job, and Donovan finds this insulting to his profession and scolds him for implying it. While Hiraku worries on expanding the grape fields, Senna rushes over to report that a strange man has entered the village.
変な人だ。
While everyone was confused, Lu recognizes the man, calling him the progenitor. In a separate room, he introduces himself to Hiraku as Valgrife, the ancestor of all vampires. He's lived in this world for a very long time, for over 4,000 years, so he was astonished to hear rumors of Lu's pregnancy. Vampires typically form blood pacts to continue their lineage, so he came over secretly to see for himself what had happened. Confirming the truth, he sends his well wishes and tells her to treasure the child. Valgrife is like Lu's and Flora's grandfather, and Hiraku is shocked to find out his age given he looks and acts fairly young. He shares that the secret to living a long life is to occasionally erase one's memories, to experience life again in a blank state. Once again, Hiraku sees the usefulness of magic and is saddened. Valgrife apologizes for visiting without any notice, as he initially planned to come and go quietly, but he couldn't turn away the urge to bow to the statues of the gods. He's once met the creator god, but he has no clear memory of the god's appearance, but the statue Hiraku made was the closest he's ever seen. He implies heavily that he wants the statue, so Hiraku instead offers to carve him another one.
気に入ったみたいね。そうですね。
With a statue on his back, Valgrife is now ready to leave, but first he asks what Hiraku wants in return. But Hiraku refuses the offer, as he felt morally wrong to profit from the god's statue. Instead, Valgrife decided to give a gift next time, and says his farewell to Hiraku, thanking him and asking him to continue taking care of Lu.
この像もルーのことも本当に感謝してる。
He also reminds Lu to cherish her child, and he quickly walks away. Valgrife then arrives at a church and greets the head priest whom he's last visited over 50 years ago. As they catch up with each other, Valgrife informs the priest to enshrine the statue he's brought back in the best spot in the temple. It would mean replacing the creator god's statue made by a master sculptor, but at his insistence, the head priest reluctantly carries out his order. They appreciate the new statue, and while the head priest wishes to spread the sculptor's fame, Valgrife states the man likes living quietly. Instead, he orders all temples and personnel to be respectful to Hiraku and his village.
大丈夫ですか？
As thanks for the statue, and in celebration of Lou's pregnancy, Valgrife sent the village a grand piano. Hiraku decided to place it down in the dining hall. Observing from afar, the town hall girls are astonished to see this piano in front of them, as it is something the church uses for religious ceremonies, and it's one of the few in the world. They desperately desire to play this piano at least once for bragging rights, but are hesitant to touch it in case they break it. They tearfully request Hiraku to get another piano for practice purposes, stating they don't mind if it's in a poor, battered condition.
あのピアノじゃダメなのか?
So in the end, through Michael, the village managed to procure another piano. With 2 pianos at hand, the village girls are all interested in playing, but the only ones that really know how to perform are the demon girls. But with this loud instrument, now there is never any peace at night.
夜はやめてほしいな。